Hi everyone, this is my final project proposal and pitch. My name is Becerra and let's get started. Okay, so for my project proposal, I am interested in creating a series of mugs and plates. I love ceramic ware. I suck at ceramics, so maybe this is my way of coping with that. This project will involve modeling a mug and plate in Maya using video references to guide me. And then, once that's all done, UV mapped, I'll import them to Substance Painter and create variations of each model through materials, patterns, and colors. I may illustrate designs for the ceramic ware on Photoshop or Illustrator, whatever seems easier, which I will later import into Substance as well, since they have that option. I hope to create three variations of each model, each with a different style. Cohesive enough to look like a collection. So, for example, I will just model just one mug and plate and then import it into Maya 3 times, or I should say like 6 times because it's two separate objects, and kind of mess with the different variations of each set of mug and plate. And then from there, I will bring the models into Substance Stager to showcase them in a creative, professional way, similar to what a brand would do. And I will create a series of scenes for each given model, and hopefully by the end I will have a handful of photos that are captivating, will remain sleek and professional. And I apologize, my cat is meowing in the background. Um, my artistic vision for this project hopefully is to create a series of ceramic ware that is cute and visually unique. And as some of a massive mug collection, I hope to create something that is also practical and usable, like nothing super crazy, like like the handle is something really intricate and like kind of hard to hold. No, something that is like standard and generally really marketable to like a lot of people. And for the design and color, I'm leaning towards something more saturated, bright colors with cute minimal designs. And then for the general material for the models, I am aiming for something that is like ceramic, that looks like shiny and smooth. Yeah. For the technical needs, I am interested, or I should say, I am, confident in some features, but I'm interested in learning more features for this process. As mentioned, I will model the mugs and plates in Maya, which I'm confident in doing because of their simplicity, but I also will have video references to base the mug and plate on. And like I said, I will reuse the models for various designs, and I will be using video references. Once I've UV mapped and cloud mapped my models, I will import them to Substance Pager and go through the process of baking, which I definitely need a refresher on, which there will be videos linked based on that. And I will then choose the appropriate materials for the models and begin the fun part of designing the ceramic ware with colors and options of like patterns and designs. And then for the designs themselves, I haven't fully planned them out, but I do aim to create them through Photoshop or Illustrator and then import them into Painter. I haven't settled on the specific design. I am sketching some stuff, which I will show in just a moment in the upcoming slides. And then for like the stager process, I do hope to present them in like a professional settings and maybe learn some tips and tricks on how to like light and like an object better. But I do aim for the background to be professional but also simple, just also for the sake of time. Nothing really crazy, just maybe a simple just backdrop. And then if I have some extra wiggle room, maybe taking the scenes into like Photoshop or Procreate and maybe creating like some little doodles and other fun little tidbits so it can look, more visually interesting. And then here are the videos. It's gonna go through all 4 of them.
In this Maya 3.
And there you go. And then same could be said for this one. But both video references, the last slide was about like modeling, which I'm not too worried about. And then but for the stager videos, Michael Tanzillo's series on Substance Stager has been really helpful, and I hope to I've already watched some of them, but finishing the series and gaining more knowledge on how to like model and present a object and make it look believable and presentable. And the same. Okay, so the references and inspiration. These are all very different since I'm still kind of figuring out what I want. But I really do like these, varying colors. But I also like how interesting these shapes are. And I really just like the variation, but the cohesiveness, especially the ones on the far left and far right. And once again, all very different, But I really like this whole pattern, like maybe having a mug that's like has like a cool pattern, or maybe all of them have different patterns. I'm not sure yet. But I was thinking maybe these patterns can be done also through Substance Painter since like they're pretty simple in design. And I also have like some 3D model ideas or references, I should say. Also a UV model map reference that I thought was like interesting and also helpful. And then this is my rough sketch. I do have a couple rougher sketches, but this is the one that looks the best. Um, so I did say I wanted to do various colors, and these are just pink and green. That may change for the final product, but this was just an exercise of like how I wanted these cups and plates to look like. Um, the first cup kind of has like that cat logo on the mug that's kind of repeated, and then have that kind of be inverse on the plate, having only one cat, and then kind of vice versa based for the second version. And then for the third cup, I was thinking about incorporating that pattern like I mentioned, and instead of having the logo having like the word meow, since it's a cat, and the cat being my cat Delilah, who was meowing a few minutes ago. But yeah, this will definitely take a little bit more like tinkering with of like sketching stuff and like seeing what I like and I don't like. But for now, this is what I have so far. But yeah, thank you so much. And then in this last slide, I will include the video.